Hey everyone, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's explainer. Today we're unpacking something that is literally everywhere right now, yet somehow still completely baffling to most of us: artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're looking at a brand new resource from the AI Bridge Foundation called the AI Basics course. Look, if you've been feeling totally lost in this massive AI hype cycle, you are definitely not alone. And honestly, that's exactly why this course was built. It is designed from the ground up with one simple goal: trying to be helpful and get you up to speed.
Let's just be real for a second. When someone at the office casually drops a term like token or context window or training data, do you actually know what they mean, or are you kind of just nodding along? Hey, it is absolutely okay if you don't. The AI Bridge Foundation saw a massive problem with how AI is talked about today. It basically leaves most people in the dust. We hear these buzzwords nonstop, but no one actually takes a second to be helpful and explain them in a way that makes sense to the rest of us.
That's why their approach here is so refreshing. They want to reassure you right out of the gate, you absolutely do not need a computer science degree to get this. No coding required, no machine learning background necessary. Honestly, if you can tap and swipe your way around a smartphone, you are 100% qualified to take this course. They're just trying to offer real, genuine understanding in plain English.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to break this explainer into 5 quick parts. First, the AI literacy gap. Second, the 4 pillars of understanding. Third, how this is built on peer-reviewed research. Fourth, we'll meet Ari, your AI tutor. And finally, number 5, how it's AI for everyone, for free. All right, let's start with section 1, the AI literacy gap. Why AI is misunderstood. The big question here is, why is this literacy gap so huge? Why is AI so tough to wrap our heads around? Well, according to the Foundation's research, explanations usually crash into one of 2 extremes. They're either painfully technical, just totally bogged down in jargon that goes right over our heads, or they are way too surface level to be practically useful. That makes it nearly impossible to separate the real, actual technology from the crazy sci-fi hype. So the AI Bridge Foundation built this course specifically to sit perfectly right there in the middle. It is designed to be actively, radically helpful, whether you're a professional trying to keep up at work, a parent trying to guide your kids, or just a casual user.
Moving right along to section 2, 4 pillars of understanding, the course curriculum.
This course is laid out beautifully. It flows logically, mapping out exactly what you need to know, step by step. It starts with step 1, what AI actually is. Then it naturally moves into step 2, what it can and can't do. From there, it tackles step 3, using AI safely, and finally, it zooms way out for step 4, AI and society. Let's break these down real quick so you know exactly what you'll be diving into. Right off the bat, in the first topic, they shatter those Hollywood illusions. Look at this comparison. On the left, we see what AI actually is. It's pattern recognition on a massive scale. Basically, a giant prediction engine fueled by vast amounts of training data. But on the right, look at what it is absolutely not. It's not thinking. It's not reasoning. It doesn't actually understand the words it's spitting out, and it definitely doesn't hold personal opinions. We're talking about narrow AI here, folks, not the super intelligent sci-fi robots we see in the movies.
And building on that, the second topic tackles a term you have probably heard thrown around: hallucination. Now, the course does a great job explaining that a hallucination isn't just a temporary little glitch that programmers are going to patch out by next Tuesday. No, it is a fundamental feature of how these prediction engines work. Because they are just guessing the next most likely word based on patterns, they will sometimes make things up with absolute, unwavering confidence. I mean, they will invent non-existent historical events or totally fake legal cases out of thin air. Trying to be helpful means teaching us to recognize that dangerous boundary between where AI completely excels, like summarizing a long document, and where it totally falls flat.
So, I want you to ask yourself this question right now. When you type something into ChatGPT, where does that text actually go? What happens to your conversation data? This third topic really gets you thinking deeply about data privacy. It teaches you the golden rule of AI, which is trust but verify. It also lays out exactly what kind of sensitive information you should absolutely never ever share with a free AI tool. Because you really need to know what these companies are doing behind the scenes with your input.
Finally, the 4th topic wraps up these pillars by zooming out to the big picture. We're talking about things like inherited bias from training data, real shifts in the job market, not the apocalyptic stuff, but the real everyday changes, how deepfakes are affecting public trust, and how governments are actually responding to all this. This is the stuff that transforms you from just a passive bystander, letting tech happen to you, into a highly informed citizen who can actually navigate real-world impacts.
Let's hit Section 3, built on peer-reviewed research, grounded in consensus.
Talk about trying to be helpful. The foundation truly did all the heavy lifting for us here. Just look at the academic overhead they dealt with. They went through the peer-reviewed SAIL for All framework, the Digital Promise framework, the super popular Long and Major Co-model with its 17 competencies, and even the Department of Labor's readiness framework. All those super dense academic papers agree on what adults need to know. And the course creators? They just translated all of that jargon into 4 topics and 19 subtopics in plain everyday language. They did the exhausting homework so your learning experience can be completely effortless.
Moving to Section 4, meet Ari, your AI tutor, adaptive teaching.
Now, if you've been dreading the idea of taking a course just because you hate sitting through boring presentations, I have amazing news. There are 0 lectures here. No traditional slides, no long videos you have to sit through, and no giant walls of text to read. You learn literally just by having a conversation with Ari. And Ari calibrates the chat to exactly what you already know. It slows down if a concept is totally new, or speeds right up if you've already got the basics down. It's incredibly smart, highly adaptive teaching.
For example, when you log back in, Ari might just casually say, "Last time we talked about training data and why AI has a knowledge cutoff. Ready to move forward or want a quick refresher?" This approach is all about prioritizing actual retention over just exposing you to a bunch of facts. Ari wants to make absolutely sure you actually remember what you learned.
So how does Ari actually pull this off? Well, behind the scenes, Ari is tracking your grasp on all 19 of those subtopics we talked about earlier, but it doesn't use standard, boring quizzes. Instead, it checks your understanding completely conversationally, like just asking you to explain a concept back to it. And if you get stuck, it doesn't give you a bad grade, it just tries a different everyday analogy, or comes at the problem from a totally new angle until it finally clicks for you. Plus, you get to see your progress visually mapped out on a cool dashboard, which guarantees you've genuinely internalized the stuff.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, AI for everyone for free.
Here is the absolute kicker. This course is 100% free, like actually free. There are no paywalls and absolutely no sneaky hidden upsells waiting to trap you at the end. 0 ads. They don't harvest your data for marketing, and your conversations with Ari stay completely 100% private. By stripping away every single one of these barriers, whether financial, privacy, or anything else, the organization is really delivering on its nonprofit mission just to be as radically helpful as possible.
And that brings us to exactly why they're doing all this. The Foundation firmly believes that AI literacy should absolutely not be some privilege reserved only for tech insiders. It's becoming a fundamental requirement for the modern world. Understanding this tech empowers you to make way better decisions at your job, as a smart consumer, as an informed voter, and even as a parent protecting your kids online. The reality is, folks who don't understand AI are going to find themselves at a growing disadvantage every single month, while those who do, they'll be empowered to thrive.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important thought. Are you going to just sit back and let the AI revolution happen to you, or will you take just a few hours to really understand it and take back control? You now know there is a radically helpful, totally free, logically structured resource right out there waiting for you. The barrier to entry is completely gone. How you choose to interact with the future is now entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to go check out the AI Basics course for yourself.